do not let your possessions possess you. So owning less, but enjoying yourself more through experiences.
Ahlaam, welcome to the Digital Nomad Finder podcast show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Shah. It's really been good to talk to you and find out a bit more about what you do. And it sounds like a great initiative because I think a lot of people want to be digital nomads and they don't know how to do it. So I think this is great. Well done.
Thank you. Can you please walk us towards your journey, how you got to where you are today?
Okay, so I have been a nutritionist and a guest, sorry, it's really distracting because it's raining outside. It's beautiful. So I've been a gut specialist, a nutritionist, and also a functional medicine practitioner. I have gone through the first stage, passed it, now on to level 2. So while I'm traveling, I'm studying and working. So it's very, very satisfying. How did I get started on it? So I've been living in Dubai for the last 20 years. And when COVID hit, I owned weight loss clinic and had to close that down because the overheads were ridiculous. And of course, we tried to function for a few months, but it didn't quite work out. But if I look at the bigger picture, I basically manifested this traveling lifestyle.
Wow.
So once COVID hit, I decided to go online, and all my patients were quite happy to go online. And then my son graduated the year before last, and he left the nest. He flew the nest. Pushed me out of the nest as well, basically, and said, Mom, off you go. You should be traveling, which is what you enjoy most. So it's traveling, photography, and my passions are those, as well as what I do to help people transform their health. So that's how I got started. I know COVID didn't help many people, and in the short run, it looked like a major disaster for business owners, many of us, but for me, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, to be honest. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's how I did. Yeah.
That sounds amazing. So basically, you had the business offline before you started traveling after COVID. And then
Yes.
business-wise, have you always had your own business since the beginning, or did you also start from a corporate life at the start before you own your business?
Yes, that's a good question. I have an MBA. So when I first arrived in Dubai from the UK, I worked for a couple of years and then started my own business. So about 18 years is I've been in business, basically. So yeah, I can pretty much make all the decisions myself. And I feel very blessed and very empowered. So yes,
That sounds
very
amazing.
highly recommended. Yeah. Yeah,
How,
absolutely.
yeah, how was the shifting from corporate life to business life for you? Is it something that you did after leaving your corporate job, or you try to establish it before you leave your corporate life?
I went cold turkey, so I had a risk, and I had a 4-year-old son when I did all of this, which is quite crazy because I didn't know how I would keep him in school, how I would feed him as a single mom. And to be honest, it was very hard work, but I think it was just believing in myself that and knowing what I wanted was to spend more time with my son and work my own hours and not work for somebody else and make them money, but make myself the money. And honestly, I felt I had all the skills to not just do what I need to do, but also for marketing my passion. So I kind of put it all together, and yeah, I mean, I've never looked back, honestly. It was hard work, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
For the first couple of years, I used to have one meal a day.
One meal.
Only because one meal a day.
Wow.
And yes, it was challenging, but it also gave me the buzz. I think I'm the sort of person who's quite adventurous. I kind of like, as Richard Branson says, take a dive, jump off the cliff, and you'll learn how to fly. And that's what I did.
Awesome. Wow, that was very bold. I'm glad
Yes,
it's working out.
yeah, many of us are very scared to take the leap of faith.
Yeah.
We kind of keep planning and even more planning, and then procrastination. And it turns into analysis paralysis. However, I don't very often plan things. I'm quite an impulsive person. So I just I just kind of jump in if I feel if instinctively something feels right, I jump in and take the leap and then figure out how to make it work. Simple.
Nice. I mean, like, so basically learning by doing. Don't think about it too much. Just learn as you go. Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. Honestly, anything you want in life, you can make it happen. But if you plan too much, or if you think too much, or if you ask too many people, it kind of just fizzles out. At least that's how it works for me. I have a gut feel, I take the leap, and I make it work. So generally, I say to people, the ones who plan too much are the ones who won't do it.
Yes,
the ones
that's
who
interesting.
do it are the ones who actually do it.
Yeah.
Because there are so many setbacks that you haven't even thought of, but the more you think about them, then you kind of get put off. So I just kind of say, what the hell? Just do it. Let's just do it.
I agree with that. Actually, I can pretty much attest to that. Like, I think I'm someone that wants everything to work perfectly, and then, plan everything, have a plan B, and then, think about all the risks to a point where, oh, this is too much risk, and then they turn into excuses, and then nothing ever happens. So I think I try to do what you said about learning by doing the podcast. It's like, okay, just do it. I don't know what editing would look like. I don't know who's gonna jump in, but just do it.
Exactly. Sorry to interrupt, because most of us can plan, but then many of these things that are planned never come true. So nothing goes to plan anyways.
Yes. What do you think about plan B? Do you think it's necessary, or just go for it and expect
I just
the
think
best?
you have to go for it, and you will make changes across as you go along. Just make those changes. Be flexible. Be what's the word? Be not vigilant, but be quite agile. That's the word. So you look at market forces, you look at other things, you kind of follow. For instance, Chat GPT has come up. A lot of content makers are actually struggling because they say, oh, but it does all the work for companies. We have no job left. Find another little niche. So nothing will ever go as planned. So planning is a bit pointless. Sorry to say that, but that's just me. I know there are many people who plan. It's like when I moved from Dubai from London to Dubai, I didn't plan anything. One morning I woke up and said, you know what? I'm going to go. I did. And 3 weeks later, I had an apartment, a car, a school for my son, a job. And I went back, picked up my son, came back. And that was it, 3 weeks.
Wow.
A new life, completely new life. So sometimes you just have to say, I'm going to do this. This is my objective. I'll figure it out. Let's just do it. And that's exactly what happened. My son convinced me to give up my house for rent in Dubai. And I'm like, I can't do this. This is scary. And he said, look, Mom, what's holding you in Dubai? And I was like, nothing, except my home and my things. And he goes, Mom, he's very wise for his age. Mom, do not let your possessions possess you.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, oh God,
oh my God, like, yes.
How are you so wise? What's wrong with you?
That's some solid quote there.
Honestly, and it made me think. So within a month between when he graduated and when I got back, I had 1 month because I literally had tenants for my place. So in a month, I wrapped up 20 years of my life.
Wow.
Gave up my house rent, gave everything away in the house except for a few bits and pieces. And and he kept saying, it's only for a year, Mom. It's only for a year. So I did it for a year, loved it so much that I gave it up for another year. And I think I'm never going to go live there permanently because you kind of get into your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you tend to say, oh, I'll stay for a bit longer and a bit longer and a bit longer. So I have no home base and I love that.
Wow.
Many of my people are like, what? That's really, unsettling. And I'm like, no, that's actually what I really enjoy because not having a base, I have, while for instance, I'm in Thailand right now, I'm planning my next trip and then my next trip and then my next trip. So it's nice because you never plan to be home,
Mm-hmm.
but you plan your next adventure while you're on one adventure. So I've been to Iceland, I've been to the Arctic, I've lived in Greece, well, lived in Italy, lived in Greece. Where else? Turkey, Pakistan, and that's it for now. So right now I'm in Thailand till the end of March, and then April onwards I travel Europe, all across Europe.
Wow, that sounds very exciting, and you look very content talking about it as well.
Yeah, I could show you the view if you wanted right now. Do you want to
Oh,
have a quick look?
please show us the view.
It's this, you can't beat the view, honestly.
Where in Thailand are you now?
I'm in
Nice,
Krabi.
raining, Krabi. Ah,
It's raining, yeah. I'm in Krabi and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
amazing. I heard a lot of digital nomad live there as well, right?
I've met up with a few online, and it's great because there are some who have been here 2 years, some who have been here 4 years. So they kind of give you all the tips and all the best places to see, best places to eat, etc. So it's nice. It's great. And
Yes.
when you get lucky, you meet up with people, you go for a walk. I get out for exercise. And I know one of your questions is going to be how to discipline yourself, but I'll let you ask me that question.
Yes,
I'm sure
for
you
sure.
have a list of questions, so go ahead. I shall
Yeah,
stop talking.
I love to hear you talk. You are very excited about your life, very content about it. And I think
I
we
am.
need to see someone that's like you, more
Thank
inspiring.
you.
Yes, and to
Thank you.
just go for what you want. My question, so as the owner of an already established business offline, what was the most challenging part about, packing your business with you and started to move it online?
I think the most challenging part, and one is the time zones
Ah,
initially.
yes.
Initially, because I work with people in the US, UK, Canada, India, Pakistan, Dubai. So it's quite varied. So, number one challenge for me is to organize myself to manage the time zones
Mhm.
best. Um, Secondly, it's the discipline. You want to do a lot more, be out there and, hiking or diving or meeting people. But you have to kind of manage your time really smartly.
Mm.
Otherwise, you cannot be running a business online. And thirdly, of course, you have to be in a place which has great Wi-Fi. There are times when the Wi-Fi isn't what we want it to be, but then I just get a local SIM
Mm.
and it's unlimited data, and that's how I connect for work purposes. So I'm never out of electricity, or for instance, it's raining now. So I think the Wi-Fi quality isn't the best, but I have my data, so I'm good.
What is the tip to be disciplined, you know, to do your work but still have a life? Because I think one of the challenges for people, especially if they're new to the lifestyle, you know, moving from corporate job to remote job, and most places that people go to remote work from are the touristy place, so it's kind of hard, you know, like a lot of people are out there having fun, and how do you keep yourself disciplined?
I work very, very in a very disciplined manner. So when I wake up, I get my exercise out of the way. And then I start working for the next 5 hours. And by about 4 o'clock, I stop working and I get out. That's when I get some
Ah,
more exercise by walking, meeting people. And if there's any sort of adventures, it's after 4. Then weekends, I give myself off completely. So I just go off hiking. I'm checking out those clouds up there on the mountain, and they're calling out to me to be hiking. Um, that's why I keep glancing that way. There's a beautiful mountain with lots and lots of moving clouds. Very, very nice, very tempting. So weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, I will plan the whole day out. I'll just do whatever I want to do, whether it's diving, hiking, cycling, whatever I feel like doing. Canyoning, kayaking. So
yeah.
yes,
So
yeah,
set a boundary for the
yeah.
work.
Totally. You have to, otherwise you just can't. And especially in new places. I mean, I worry about being in Europe as well because there's so much to do. There's so much to do. I mean, in every new place you go to, there's always loads to do, but you have to pace yourself and make sure you know, get a good balance of work and exercise and meeting people. Otherwise, it can be quite isolated.
And another
Yeah.
thing I think most challenging for people that wants to establish their own business is to choose, like, what kind of business do I go into now? Like, do you have any advice for people looking into starting their own business? Like, how do they, what is a good advice to choose a direction?
That's a very difficult question, only because people should be doing what they enjoy doing rather than something that they kind of forced to choose because they want to work online. Most of us, okay, unless you're a doctor or a nurse, even doctors these days, unless you're a surgeon or a nurse, or a chiropractor or a physiotherapist, most of us can go do whatever we're doing online. But yes, you've got to choose something that you're passionate about and then something that's not crowding the market. So if content creators are all over the place, coding experts are all over the place. So it's about choosing something unique that is needed. So a bit of research would be really useful in your specific field. So if, for instance, I mean, for me, it was unforeseeable that a nutritionist and a gut specialist would go online. Anyways, everything went down the telehealth way. So honestly, it worked out fine. And I think, anyways, I manifested it because quite a few years ago, I met somebody who was teaching vegan cooking classes. And she said, I love the fact that I don't own a set of keys. I thought, wow, that sounds really cool. And that was a good 8 years ago, I think. And she didn't have a car, she didn't have a home, but the world was her home. The whole world was her oyster. And I thought, oh my God, I want that lifestyle. And it worked out really well. So I don't own a set of keys. My mom insists on giving me a set of keys to her house because I visit her regularly. And I'm like, no, but I don't want a set of keys.
You still
So
enjoy traveling around.
yeah, it's about minimalistic living as well. For me, I think it's a couple of different things that have come into place. It's the idea of minimalistic living. So owning less, but enjoying yourself more through experiences.
How can people learn to have less but enjoy more?
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't think about it too much.
Just do it. Leave out the wants and go for the needs. And you can live on very few things. I have one suitcase and that's what I travel with. I started off until recently to have one slightly bigger suitcase and one carry-on the plane. And then I decided, you know what, it's just too much hassle and it stops me being agile and move around. So I just brought everything down to one suitcase and that's it. That's what I travel with.
Nice. What do you have any ideal place that you'd like to go to as a digital nomad, apart from Wi-Fi, of course?
Anything that has nature.
Oh, okay.
For
So
me,
it doesn't matter.
And hiking, and I wouldn't like to be in a city unless, of course, it's something like Milan or Rome for a short while. But I really need to be around nature and water, mountains, green energy, all of that. I need that. Otherwise, I start to feel quite suffocated.
Nice. So what about I saw one of your quotes on your Instagram where you say that when people say they don't have time to be healthy, then I say, well, then make time for illness. So when you're traveling, what is one tip for people to keep the healthy lifestyle? Because sometimes people like to try different foods and maybe go out of balance a little bit.
Yeah, again, it's a matter of balancing it all out. So if you've had one naughty meal, you have two good meals. Exercise, drink your water, make sure you have your supplements. I always carry all my supplements with me. I've got all my supplements right here. I never travel without supplements. I make sure I exercise. I make sure I have my little smoothie maker with me in my little suitcase. Not so little suitcase, and my flaxseed, chia seeds, all of my little bits and pieces. So I travel, I would say half of my stuff out of 20 kilos, 10 kilos is always my health and well-being stuff. And 10 kilos is the rest of my stuff, like my shampoos. I do like my shampoos. They're very special. And then just, about 3 changes of clothes. Yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's very simple. As long as you keep it all balanced, you're good. Try the local foods, make the intelligent choices. You don't have to eat fried foods. You don't have to eat overly sauces-ridden stuff, additives and preservatives and all that. So if you're mindful of that, then we're good.
So be mindful, keep it simple, be aware. Yeah.
Just balance it out. Yeah. I mean, you will have the odd happy hours, you'll have all of that, but work it off. Make sure you exercise. Specifically, I say to everybody, get your exercise in, or at least your 10,000 steps.
10,000 steps a day.
Yeah.
And frequently.
Yes. Well, every day.
Yes. I have a question. It's more personal, I guess. How does the mind affect the gut health?
It's directly affecting the gut health.
So it's not just the food.
It's both ways. The mind affects your gut and the gut affects your mind. So it's a two-way process. I mean, whatever you eat affects your mind. So, I mean, affects everything.
Interesting. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that what you eat affect your mind.
Are you serious?
No,
wow.
I thought it's more about like the thoughts that you have and then it affects your body.
It's both ways. It's the gut-brain axis. So whatever you're thinking affects your gut, whatever you're eating affects your brain. So yeah. And the health of your microbiome, your gut bacteria, directly affects your mind. So productivity, depression, mood swings, anxiety, all of that is affected by what you eat directly.
Directly. What's something that people should avoid?
Coffee.
What is it? Coke.
Coke.
Oh, okay.
So
What about coffee?
sugar, sodas, preservatives, additives, processed foods, baked goods, all of that affect you directly, affect the brain directly. So yes.
That is new to me.
I'm glad.
Yes. Thank you so much. Can you tell us more about what you do in your business and how you're helping people?
Well, I do a complete assessment of your lifestyle initially and a medical questionnaire. And then I sit down with you, work on the challenges, work on the goals, create a meal plan for you, create a supplement profile, exercise profile. From a functional medicine point of view. So it's a very holistic approach. And then develop the whole plan and help you implement it while holding your hand over a period of 12 weeks, because that's the minimum you need to see a difference.
12 weeks, one-on-one with you.
Yeah.
Awesome. And when people want to connect with you online, where can they find you?
My website is the best, which is www.ahlaamali.com, which is AHLAAM for mother, Ali, ALI.com. Very simple. Or even, just Google me, they'll find me.
Thank you so much for sharing all your tips.
And thank you. It's been great chatting with you. And good luck with all of this and your endeavors to connect, all the nomads together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I had good fun talking to you, and you're very excited about everything. I feel inspired.